And welcome back. This segment of the Sports Source brought to you by Madisonville Marine. So many boat companies fell behind in production due to COVID that new models are only now starting to trickle in. You can see them firsthand by traveling down to Highway 411 North in Madisonville and seeing these guys, or you can visit madmarine.com. They're going to be having more and more of the 2021 models wind up on their showroom very shortly. Madisonville Marine, there is no better place to buy a boat, I promise you. All right, let's do a couple more fill in the blanks as we look forward to Tennessee's 2020 season. And I'm going to put a caveat in this one. If not Josh Palmer, who is your leading returning receiver, if not Josh Palmer, blank will lead the Vols in total receptions this year. Anybody want to jump on that?
I'm going to take a flyer. Can I take two guys?
You're Cavaliers in the question. Okay.
I'll take a flyer on a young guy and an old guy.
Okay.
I'll take Jalen Hyatt, the true freshman.
Right.
Getting a lot of
really
fun.
nice camp. I think he's got a ton of speed, but he's a lot more refined than you'd expect for a really young kid. And then the way that T. Martin talks about Velus Jones, the USC grad transfer, they sound like they want to get him the ball. And, you know, read into that what you will. I think he certainly fell off the depth chart at USC. But they like his speed. They like his ability in the open field. And he may get some touches, and I think, you know, behind Palmer, there's going to be a lot of opportunity as well. A ton of targets up, and if you're looking at me, I'd like to take a flyer on those two guys.
Lost 3 of your top 4 receivers last year in terms of just total catches. Jennings, 59, gone. Callaway, 30, gone. Wood Anderson, 21, gone. Palmer had 34. The next 2 returning receivers, leader, 13 for Gray and Chandler.
And they're
big
running
drop
backs.
off,
Yeah.
lots of holes to fill. So if it's not Palmer, who is the blank?
Well, I mean, the next you would look on the list, wouldn't it be Ramel Keaton? I mean, with the ability he has, I mean, he's just got some smooth moves. Can he elevate to that number 1 guy? I don't know. But I'm pulling for like a Brandon Johnson that sat out most of the year and has improved in some ways. And I think he can do a lot more things. And then I also had Jalen Hyatt. And I think Tennessee's going to have some of the most talented and fast young receivers in the country, and who's going to emerge from that group will be key.
Okay, you named 15 guys.
That's just three, wasn't it?
I've been named 2, so Cavaliers has to top it and go with 3.
So
I'm going to
here's-
go Keaton. I'll throw a flyer with Keaton.
So the question is, do you rotate so many guys that you get these running backs involved, and the running back, and Eric Gray or Ty Chandler, is your leading receiver just because he's out there picking up 4, 5, 6 receptions a game as part of that offense, and you have other guys that are just rotating in, and you never get that real true who's the number 1 guy. I could see it very easily being one of the running backs, if it's not Palmer, is going to be your reception.
So you got
leader.
8 guys with 15 or 20 catches instead of some. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have the clear winner, then you're going to have a guy like a running back is going to take the win of that.
All right, last one. Tennessee converted 43.1% of their third down tries last year. That was the 3rd best number in the SEC. And you think about how that offense struggled at times. All right, now you take Juwan Jennings off, and he probably converted 80% of your 40%
Right.
there. Tennessee's third down percentage on offense will be blank this year. Better or worse?
Worse. Why? Which cupcake team are you playing this year to build up your stats in that? I mean, you're playing an all-SEC schedule. The SEC is known for defense. To think that all of a sudden you're going to go through a COVID year, not have as many practices, and then play a much tougher schedule and have a better, not likely.
That's a great answer. You took it to a layer I hadn't thought of.
Yeah, I had not considered that. Well, let's compare the SEC games last year to the SEC games this year.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance it could be better. I think, for one, you have a quarterback who, in theory, has a better understanding of the offense and his head isn't spinning quite as much. And in theory, you have a better offensive line. I mean, he was still pressured a lot last year. I think Tennessee ranked overall like 90th in quarterback pressures defending him. If you can keep him a little bit more time, I think there's something to the idea that even though defenses are going to focus in on Jennings, I think it may be tough this year because you don't know where he wants to go with the ball. Palmer will be on top of that, and maybe you can slip in a guy in the slot, hit him on a slant, 3rd and 4, convert those things. We'll see. I think generally probably not, but I think I would say that they got a pretty good shot to be better if you consider just the SEC games.
I say no way. I say no way. You go from 3rd, right, in the SEC on 3rd downs, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be better than Florida or Alabama. Who are you going to pass, and who are you going to be in that top 2? That's a tall order. I mean, you moved up You
Yeah,
may
I don't
jump from-
necessarily mean better than third. I mean just better than the 43.1%.
Oh, okay. Looking at that, well, I think you can be slightly better.
Okay.
But that was a huge jump from 10th in the SEC on third down to third.
I was going to go worse. Will's take makes me guarantee that I'm going worse. That's right. You take out the fluff,
Yeah.
and you're going up against tougher defense. So I'm going worse. All right. When we come back, if we could take Jarrett Garantano, if Jim Chaney called and said, hey guys, we need your expertise. If we could coach him for 5 minutes, what would we tell him going into this season? What would be our advice for Jarrett Garantano? Come on back, we'll discuss.